All right, guys, welcome back. I think you just saw the first break there, Jordan Gray versus Bryan Jones. The other Final Four winner's side match.
Okay, I was just talking to the tournament directors, and the venue opens at 11 tomorrow, so play will likely start at noon. Because we're only going to have 6, maybe 8 players coming back tomorrow, so it's not going to be a long day.
Yeah. Anybody just jumping in, guys? I apologize for the audio. It probably sounds like we're yelling at you a little bit. We've done the absolute best we can. The music is blaring in the background. We've done the best we can to cut as much of that out as we possibly can. But sorry about that. So one of the tough things about taking the show on the road for live streaming, man, you kind of get what you get with the ambient noise. So
yeah, I mean, we have enough trouble with the jukebox at Brews, but at least we know there's not going to be a live band there. Even when we had live bands at Brews, we didn't schedule them on the weekends of our bigger tournaments.
I think he may be able to go into this cluster here with the 6 and the 3 right now.
Oh, he goes right around it. But it went right around it, and he may have scratched in this. Nope. Must have come off the point, though, the angle that ball came out at.
I think he just drew it a ton. Oh, you mean this point here?
Yeah.
Up on the scratch. I got you. I think he was really trying to work hard to go into the 3 there. He knew that it was conceivable to play the 6-up table if he needed, or even through the 11 at some point, but had to get the 3 out of there, and that's why he missed it long. You can kind of, if you go into both them balls, a lot of times you can just bump the 3 closer to the pocket where the 11 is, or kind of tie them both up where the 4 is. So,
no.
looks like he's going to try to pocket the 11 and play safe here. Maybe carry him off the 3. Just got to take care not to follow in with your cue ball here. You're going to be hitting this very softly.
Yes. I mean, you're going to leave a long shot on the 13, but...
And I think also... Ooh, do you think he thought he could get the 3 to follow, even on the combo?
I think he did, because I mean, I don't think that's a good safety played that way, and so he must have thought he could get the 3 to follow in.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that play. The only way you can get a ball to follow in on a combo is if you hit the other ball to the fat side and just get it to kind of trickle in a little bit.
Yeah.
Very, very tough shot.
Yeah. But Bryan does tend to be a very aggressive player, so it doesn't surprise me if he thought he could do it, that he would go for it.
Well, and the other thing is, for Bryan to be where he is today means that he's played very well today.
Yes.
And he's got to be feeling good, feeling like he can make anything at any time, and that'll go into some of the decision-making process too.
Yeah, absolutely.
That needs to go. It still goes to the side, but he's got work to do with the cue ball now. I think he can go right between the 2 and the 6 with some draw and come straight back up for the 8. Just got to get into this one nice. You don't want to hit the 2 on the right side and get funky. Yeah, he hit it good. He hit that really good. He's got a beautiful stroke. He gets through the cue ball so well.
Be the first rack to Jordan. I did not see who broke to start. Do you know?
I think
Oh,
Bryan did.
As I say, it looks like Jordan's racking the ball, so must be his break.
I don't know. A lot of people are talking about the music being this distraction for the players. I think it's loud enough and consistent enough that it's probably not that bad for the players.
I agree. I know when we used to have the bands at Brews, the music was never an issue.
The smoke was.
The smoke or the lights, if they, but given that we're actually around the corner from where the band really is, no lights that they have are going to be directed towards the pool tables.
All right, let's take a look at Jordan's break here once again. Oh, somehow beats the scratch, but it's going to get... Oh, it beats it again!
And he makes 3 balls on the break. 2 high and a 1 low.
You know, Virginia makes a great point. I think sometimes we've known Dylan for so long now, and we're so used to him playing so good already, that sometimes we do forget how impressive it is that he plays the way that he does and knows what he knows at the age that he is.
Yes, absolutely.
And like she points out, very composed, well-mannered, very impressive young man.
Yeah.
And it's a tribute to Tim for the job that they've done raising the young man. So
Yeah.
shout out to Tim Spoor. You did a good job, sir.
I will say this general area has a lot of good up-and-coming players that are also nice young gentlemen. Dylan, Thomas Haas, Nathan Childress, Shane Wolford.
And the second part of that is more important.
Yes.
We can't say enough about it.
And I'm not saying those are the only ones, so I'm not trying to leave
Cohen?
anybody out. Cohen Bell, yes.
Yeah. And there's several
And
others.
then even a
lesser known.
little younger, Skylar Hess, Jaws Spain.
More impressive play from Jordan. Looking real strong.
He is.
Probably, for my money, he and Dylan have played the best out of everybody in this tournament from what I've seen so far.
I agree.
And it looks like we may be headed to have those two in the hot seat match.
Yes.
Which is a lot of times what happens. Not always, but I think they've played the best and they deserve to be there.
Agreed.
Bryan had a mildly successful break last time. There was just a couple clusters that he couldn't quite work out. So let's see what he does this time. Yeah, real strong break. The 8-ball is the biggest problem for the solids, but you're definitely taking the solids. And the 8 goes to the side easily. It may go to the corner as well. I think it does.
I think it does, yes.
But if you're taking the 4 early, that would be a good key ball if you wanted to play the 8 in the corner. But you don't need to play the 8 in the corner. It goes to
No.
the side. So 7 passes the 6. So from here, I like getting the 5 out of the way here.
No, I agree.
And you got to get on the 1 sooner rather than later.
Wonder if he's not planning on leaving that 4 as the key ball.
Kind of looks like it is, huh?
Play the 6, the 2, then I guess the 3, then the 1.
I just am not a huge fan of the 3 to the 1.
No, neither am I. But I've got to tell you, I'm not a real huge fan of going off of anything to that 1, though. So.
I kind of like the 4 to the 1. That's why I wouldn't
Yeah.
use the 4 as the key ball, because I like taking the back cut and having the 3 to go around a couple rails.
Gotcha.
I think that might be what he does now, too. I think that's the play here. I think you play the 4, shoot the 1, and then play the 3. If you stay above the line for the 3, you can pretty easily roll down for the 8 on the side, you know. But he is going. I don't like going from the 1 to the 8, and I don't like going from the 3 to the 1.
No.
So I think the table kind of tells you what to do here.
And if you're going to go from the 3 to the 1, all I see is just following it down and getting below the 15.
It wasn't natural.
No.
Anytime you're trying to force an angle in a shot that's not really there, the shot becomes missable. And as you see there, that's what happens. So
Yeah, he got a little lucky on the leave, though. I'm not sure what Jordan's going to have here.
call me crazy, but I would think about playing the 15 to the 4 and going 1 rail down below the 8, 10, 11.
No, actually, it looks like what he's trying to do. He overcut the 15 a little bit, but that is what he tried to play.
Yeah, and I think he has the 4 ball.
Yep. And now the 1 to the 3 is got a small opening, but the 3 to the 8 is easy as long as you don't have too much angle on the 3.
You're going to have some angle, so I think that's the only thing that makes it a little bit tough. But even so, going into the 8's okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Dave? I think the 8 passes the 10 to the other corner too now.
Oh, does it?
Well, and actually, he chose a very interesting route to get to the 3, and he made it much simpler. I think he can kind of just drag up at the 12 now.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be jacked up. You also don't want to thin the 12 and go behind the 9. Those are both possibilities.
Yeah.
Got to hit this good.
But yeah, if you can go into the 9 or into the 12 full, or go, he's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Bryan. It's too thick on the 8 ball.
That's an unfortunate miss for Bryan after a really nice out.
Yes.
I guess technically not an out, but a nice pattern to get a chance at the 8 there and not able to get it down. But sometimes, like Jordan Gray, have a day. Like sometimes it's your day and you just keep getting looks every time, you know. Most of the tournaments that I've won, I feel like I haven't played the best pool that I've ever played. It's just I played pretty good and everything went my way, you know.
Yeah.
And you need a little bit of both, I think. That 12 ball danced around in the pocket for about 5 minutes before it disappeared. I guess you can just slow roll this and play the 11 past the 8, maybe? Is the 11 past the 8?
I'm fairly certain one of them passes the 8, although I'm not even going to guess which one because we've had so much trouble with this angle.
I think the 10 goes, yeah. Oh, yeah, we didn't mention Nathan Childress when we were talking about the junior players.
No, I did, actually.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
Oh. Yeah, actually, when we were up here in May for the Maryland State 9-ball, Nathan did something that really impressed me. He kicked at a ball, and he felt that he may have made a bad hit, and even though his opponent said that he was okay with it being a good hit, Nathan asked us to rewind the video and make sure that his hit was good, and it turns out it was a bad hit. And I don't know how many people, when their opponent was like, no, it was a good hit, wouldn't just be like, okay, and keep shooting. How many would be like, no, I really don't know that it was. And
I think somebody was telling me that on the first look you couldn't quite tell, and Nathan was like, well, can you like zoom in a little?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he really wanted. And well, it wasn't even so much. Josh pulled it up on his phone, and the phone was too small. Once we got it up on the screen here, it was honestly I almost didn't even need to see the hit. Once I saw the position of the two balls and knowing which way the balls went, I was pretty sure the hit was bad. But
and it's pretty funny how that works. Like if you're Nathan, you kind of know that you fouled.
Yeah.
Like even though as close as it is, just the way the balls behave, a lot of times you know what it was going to do if you hit it right.
Right. Yeah. You hit this ball first, it's going one way. You hit the other ball first, they're going a completely different way. So
especially as the guy playing the shot.
Right.
You see exactly what the angle is and how the balls are sitting, and you know what's going to happen.
Yep.
So 3-0 for Jordan. A little bit sloppy miss there on the 10. I think it may have been a hair tight going past the 8, but I don't think it was really tight. That was a little bit sloppy of a miss, but gets away with it. And breaking here, trying to go up 4-0 to get to the hot seat match if he can close this match out. So not over, still halfway through the match.
And Jordan comes up dry on the break. And has left a bit of a cluster down by the 8-ball.
Do you think he can play the 4 from where the 3 is?
I think so, but I'm not certain.
Can go to it now if that's the case. The only thing that's tough about it is it's one of those shots where you probably want to be fairly straight on it, and then you have to get to another ball. He hit this perfect.
Yeah.
That's absolutely perfect. He might, I don't think this 14 will move. I think he'll draw straight out for the 2.
Yep.
And maybe just a hair more angle than you want here. Have to hit this good. He did. He killed it really nicely.
He did.
Long straight on the 6, and what I'm saying that is because the 8 needs to go the other way. He didn't want to have it back cut on the 6 at all. He hit it he played that perfectly. The last 4 or 5 balls there, really.
Yeah,
they were all important shots.
And he gets the 8 down. He gets on the board. Now 3-1 Jordan with Bryan to break.
Yeah, definitely not out of it for Bryan at all. Nice out there.
No, he was down, 5-2 to Joey Korsiak in his last match. So he's already shown that he can grind and get back into a match.
Yeah, Larry Steele, I don't know, none of us know him, but his, no surprises by the numbers. He's a 657 Fargo. So, I mean, he's playing the way he's supposed to play, I think, but it was just weird for all of us not to know somebody that plays that well.
Agreed. Yeah, location just on Fargo just says Virginia, so I'm not.
Yeah, there's a lot of places in Virginia that could be not very far away from here. So.
Yeah. Well, but also, if anybody got their Fargo from Chris Wilburn's Northern or DMV Amateur Tour, it's going to say Virginia regardless of where they're actually from. At least I've noticed that with some players, so you might not even be from Virginia.
That's absolutely true. So if Fargo doesn't have a better indication of a player's location already, then they'll assume that they are local to whatever tournament they play in. So until they get better information, but and Fargo's going to just keep getting better and better. They definitely need more ways for data to be inputted. There's a couple guys working on some things. There's some technology out there now already where you can set up all your challenge matches to be entered into Fargo. And there's checks and balances on there to make sure that results are accurate and validated by the community and stuff like that. So, and if you want more information on any of that stuff, big shout out to Joey Ryan, and check out the Pool Player Podcast if you have not already. I don't know what you're doing with your life. If you're a pool player or a fan of pool and you don't subscribe and listen to the Pool Player Podcast by Joey Ryan, go ahead and do yourself a favor and look into that. As several episodes regarding that, he's had the guys from Fargo raid on.
Yes.
And then I think there's another piece of technology called Salado or something like that.
I'm not familiar with that one.
There's a group of guys that are developing an app that basically you can it does a lot of things, but one of the functions that I was impressed with is you can basically say that, hey, Dave Nangle and Jeremy Mason are playing a race to 15 for whatever or for nothing on such and such day. And it has to be at some point in the future, and we have to agree that both of us have to agree that this is going to be a match that will be reported to Fargo. And then we input it into that app, and then Fargo pulls those results directly from that app.
Oh, okay.
And then there's the community is able to go in and say, like, if I say I just beat Joe Wright 15-1, 10 people can say, nah, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can't really tweak your Fargo or whatever in that regard. So just some good things being done.
And as with any ranking system, the more data it has, the better it's going to be. So the more tournaments that we get submitting to Fargo, the more accurate the results will be.
That's why I was so happy when you guys jumped on board with that here, the Maryland State events and all the On the Hill Productions tournaments, because here's the thing. If you die in a plane crash and there was 15 parachutes sitting right there and nobody used them, you don't then say parachutes suck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if the only problem is that you're not using it, then the problem is not the parachute.
Right. All right, so Joey has taken a 4-1 lead here. Or not Joey, Jordan has taken a 4-1 lead here. Not sure what match I'm
Yeah, Larry, Challenge is also a great tool, and I don't know, Challenge has an option to play a race when you go in to set up a tournament now. I don't know if you can set that up to where that reports immediately to Fargo. I'm assuming you probably could. You may have to contact Mike Page about that. Maybe at some point I'll contact Mike Page about that because I'd like to report all my matchup results to Fargo. I think everybody should. If you can, you should. There's guys that say like it's bad for action and this and that, but I completely disagree. I think Joey Ryan makes the point that everybody in Arizona has a Fargo rate. And when you go there, everybody has an established rating. You know within 30 or 40 points how a guy plays, and it's more action because nobody's afraid of getting robbed. You if you go in anywhere and see that a guy is a 615 Fargo and has 500 or 600 games in the system, you can trust that within 25 to 30 points of that is accurate.
Yeah. Larry's saying that you can report the matchups. You just set the tournament size to 2.
I don't even think you have to do that because when you go to put a tournament into, when you go to create a tournament in Challenge, it gives you the option to create a tournament or create a race.
Okay.
And I think you could just do it that way. I haven't messed around with it, but it's there.
I've never actually used Challenge to run a tournament. Obviously, I've played in a lot of tournaments that are run off of it, so I'm familiar with looking at the brackets, but not running tournaments through it.
There's a couple things with InGen that are better, in my opinion. One of the things I noticed with Challenge as a tournament director is that late entries are a little bit difficult if you don't use placeholders, players named by 1, by 2, by 3.
Okay.
If you add a player to the bracket will stay the same relatively, but you have to reset the results. So you have to like screenshot any results that you've already put in. And then it puts the player where they want to. So what you can get into a position is, like, say for example, I have a 15-player tournament and another player shows up. I guess it would have to be a 14-player tournament.
Yeah, because at 15, there's only one place to put them.
So a 14-player tournament, and then the player shows up, and I have already started match, whatever that is, second round match between two players. Challenge sometimes tries to put that 15th player into the position that would have taken the bye away from the player
that's already playing the next round. Yeah.
Whereas in InGen, you add a late entry, and then it gives you the option to just drag it to any bye spot on the bracket, which is really nice.
It highlights its recommended one, but it gives you the option of putting it in any one you want, yes. My biggest issue with Challenge is that it does not let you assign tables, to the best of my knowledge.
That's another great thing with InGen.
Yeah, and especially given that with most of my tournaments, not all my tables are in the same room, so I can't just look around and see what the empty table is. It is very helpful to have a tool that tells me what table people came off of when they are reporting their match.
You're absolutely right about that. And even in a room where you can see all the tables, the way guys jump up and start hitting balls on an open table, it's still tough to look around and see what's open sometimes. So we've gone way down the rabbit hole of tournament director conversation here. If you want a good recommendation from me, just don't do it.
Yeah. Oh, very nice shot there by Jordan. Tournament director Loy Bolliard stepped in to watch the hit there, so I had to change the camera angle so that we could actually see the shot.
Oh, he missed another 8 ball.
Overcuts the 8 ball.
And pretty great roll for Jordan here. I think the only shot we have here is the 1, and you're
coming straight over the 3 on a reach. Yeah.
Maybe the 3 still goes, but I don't think so.
Let's see. Well, not with Bryan standing there. Okay, there. I don't know. That's an awfully tough shot from that close to the 3 ball.
If it's easier, I mean, you're still probably reaching and elevated, but you could thin the 1 and go behind the 7 if you absolutely don't love the shot. But the shot's a bit two ways too.
Honestly, with the 3 ball and the 6 ball, where they are in front of that side. I'm not sure. I'm not just playing into the 7 and leaving the cue ball on the foot rail, and if he cuts it up table, he cuts it up table.
I think I'm just playing the 1 because the 7's right there, and you don't, even if you get flat on the 7, the 6 and the 3 take you up for the 5, and they're not selling out a bank shot if you miss the 1.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
I mean, yeah.
Well, you sell out potentially a double bank to the other side is
Yeah.
the only thing to guard against, you know.
That's true.
Well, I was going to say unfortunate for him to miss it that way because the cue ball getting out of space was really good for Jordan on the double bank.
Until the 1 ball rolled up against it, yes.
Exactly, yeah. So it was a bad way to miss it and then a good roll.
Yeah.
But Jordan still does have a double bank. I don't know what else you can do here. I guess technically you could bank it to the corner, but you're already elevated, and then the cue ball is going to be flying off the 8. I don't think that's there.
I'm not convinced this ball can't go in the near side off the 3 and then off the 6. I'm not saying that's the right shot, but
the one good thing about that shot is if you hit it good, even if it doesn't go, the 6 might sit right on the rail.
Yes. And you might even push the 3 onto the rail as well.
Right. So I don't hate it.
Yeah.
Just looking at it.
Yeah. Did not see where he called the ball here, so I'm not sure. Yeah, I believe he was trying what I said.
Yeah. And, it'd be unfortunate for him that. It'd be unfortunate for him that the 6 goes to the side pocket because. I haven't played in a tournament, I don't think ever, where the 8 ball has to go clean.
Oh, is that what he asked? I didn't hear what he said. Yeah, no, I've never.
That would have been a good question to ask on the last shot, right?
Yeah. I mean, unless he just thought it went clean in between the 3 and the 6, but even if you think it goes,
does he think he's Steve Fleming?
Yeah, as I say, even if you think it goes, even if you think it goes clean between there, you got to find out what happens if it grazes one of the balls on the way through.
Yeah, because you can't take that shot on then.
Yeah. But yeah,
again,
no, I agree. I mean, other than playing
straight 8 in a bar.
Yeah, I've never seen anything where the 8 has to go clean.
I think he's called it off the 3 and the 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good hit.
A good hit.
No more ducking here if you're Bryan. You gotta.
No, I was actually kind of surprised that Bryan ducked on the previous shot.
I would not have. It's funny. We just talked to Rack ago about how Bryan's real aggressive.
Yeah.
So interesting stuff there, but he's got a good look here. I will say with the position of the 8 now, the 3 becomes a ball that you have to pay attention to. It still can easily go to the corner, but you just have to be shooting it from a good spot. He may be able to do it right now.
I'm not sure I don't take the 3 right now.
And he either has the angle where he has to roll forward or he can pull it back. One or the other is there.
Yeah. Yep.
Now he's got a long reach. He's going to shoot this left-handed. I put a big stroke on with it left-handed too. He's done that before.
Yes.
I'm just gonna go out there on a limb and tell you guys that that's not what it looks like when I play a ball left-handed.
No.
But of course, Bryan, kind of an old school player, and I'm sure he was very proficient playing pool a long time before extensions were a thing.
Yes.
So you kind of have to learn the old left-handed shot at some point.
Especially if you played in some of the rooms I've played in where bridges are hard to find.
Yeah, or like that, or the end of the bridge sticks out about 2 inches past the rake.
Right, yeah, so you can't put it up near the ball.
We have so many horror stories. Like, anybody out there that doesn't play pool is gonna be like, "Why would I want to do this?" Like, the answer is, I don't know. I got nothing. Taking a quick look around the room. Got Steve Fleming still locked in with Rick Miller.
And Tuan Chow is playing Russell Obaker. Those are the other two matches going on at the moment. The Fleming Miller match is a 9th, 12th place match, and the Chow Obaker is a 7th, 8th place match.
Yeah, so a little bit behind on that side of the bracket. The winner of Steve versus Rick will take on Joey Korziak, and winner of that match would take on Brandon Schuff. Loser of this match will play winner of Tuan versus
Russell.
Yeah, so. And that's it. What do we got? 9 players left, yeah?
Yep. Yeah.
And of course, Dylan Spoor sitting in the hot seat match awaiting his opponent, the winner of this match.
Yes. Ooh.
All right, so what do we got? Solids here for Jordan.
Yes.
4 passes, the 13. Only real problem here is the 1.
Yep.
And then, of course, the 8 doesn't have both lower corner pockets, which is something you always have to pay attention to. How do you attack this 1 ball, Dave?
I have no idea, to be honest with you. Because, I mean, you can't get below it and shoot it up table either because of the 13.
I think if I had another ball near the side pocket, I like getting an angle to play the 5 and going 1 rail like into the 1. But you're hitting it to a bad spot too. You can't just crash into it. You need the side pocket for the 1 because if it goes farther down table, it still doesn't have a pocket. So he's got that angle now. And I guess you do have a little bit of insurance with the 4 ball.
Yeah.
If you don't get doubled up on the 1. That's going to hit it.
He double kissed it though and left it on the rail.
Yeah, and that's going to be his last barrel when it comes to the breakout, but it does bank much easier from this position.
Yeah.
But again, you don't want it to be your last ball with the bank because the 8 only has the lower right if you're going from the 1 to the 8.
Yeah. I mean, unless you can get underneath it and shoot it in the side, but that's not something I'd be wanting to try and do from the bank.
I'm kind of thinking about playing the 1 in the corner right now, cross corner, because you don't get another, yeah, I think that's what he's playing.
He's looking at it.
It's the shot where if you make it right now, you win the rack. Because you're going to get from the 4 to the 2 to the 8. You just got to get this 1 down. And the thing is, sometimes people think about this differently, but I'm like, you have to make all these balls now to win this rack.
Yeah.
And if this is the best you look you're going to get at the 1, I take it right now.
I absolutely agree.
Just a short. Kind of well short, too.
Yes.
It's funny. I know on kicking, I notice how much longer the gold crowns play than the diamond 9-foot that I'm used to. But on the bank shots, I think I overplay that and overcompensate for it and miss a lot short because I'm expecting them to bank much longer also, and I don't think they do. I think they bank a little bit
bank,
longer.
They do bank longer, but maybe not as much as you see on the kicks. I'll agree with that.
And he also shortened that up a lot by kind of drawing out of it the way that he did.
You miss the bank the way you want to miss it if you're playing rotation, though, so you leave the ball in the middle of the short rail for the other guy to shoot at. But obviously, an 8-ball, that's not.
Doesn't help.
Yeah.
That's a good shot.
Yeah.
You know what? That looks like it's so simple and easy, but there's so many ways to overhit that ball or hit the 4 trying not to overhit that ball or let go of it a little bit. And just showed a lot of knowledge with the cue ball on that shot, the way he hit it and the way he executed it. Well, and then the same guy. And it's going to break out the 4. It looked like it covered it for a second and then puts him straight in. That's brutal.
It is.
Oh my gosh. Great chance here for Jordan to get on the hill.
Okay, Tuan Chow has beaten Russell Obaker 6-2. So Russell will finish 7th, 8th.
Strong finish for Russell.
Tuan will be awaiting the loser of this match, which might be tomorrow morning. I am not sure. Or tomorrow afternoon, actually. We won't be starting play until noon tomorrow.
He missed it. And the 14 is hanging. This is a really, really big swing rack here.
Yeah, 5-2 versus 4-3. Enormous difference.
In a race to 6, I think it's the biggest one, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you get back to within 1 or the other guy gets on the hill up 3.
Got to win 4 in a row from there. It's a huge, huge game here. And Jordan knows that in his chair.
Although Bryan did come back from 5-2 down against Joey Korsiak, I don't think that's something you want to keep trying to do over and over again.
You don't play it that way on purpose.
No.
And he missed another 8-ball. Both these guys have missed 2 8-balls in this match.
Yes.
A little bit short coming from the 14 to the 8 there, but still a shot he's supposed to make.
Agreed.
And the 1 passes the 2. He may have an angle where it's easier to just roll past the 2 and play it the other way now. If not, he can definitely pinch this back and take a little bit steeper cut on the 2. He's really taking his time now. You know, it's one of those things where you realize how big of a spot it was right after you make the mistake. And now he hits that second chance, and he's not going to let it get away again. And this is why he took his time. He knew as good as he could hit that 1 would give him this shot right here. If he hit it any worse, it was going to get tougher and tougher.
Yep.
Oh, my gosh.
Uh-oh. Oh, wow. So
wow. Wow.
Bryan pulls to within 4-3. I believe it is Jordan to break.
If I'm Jordan, I'm taking a bathroom break right now before this break.
I agree.
This is a perfect time for it. You need to reset. It's tough to do it at the table. He's letting a little bit of his frustration out. Deep breath, kind of rolled the 8-ball around a little bit on the table. And kind of not being disrespectful to the equipment at all, but kind of like giving a little bit of tap to the balls as he sets them in the rack. Nothing unsportsmanlike or whatever, just letting a little bit of that frustration flow out so he can have most of it gone by the time he breaks these balls. I like to see that from somebody, not showing the other guy up, not being disrespectful to the equipment or anything, being a showboat or anything like that, a whiny baby. All he's doing is letting some of that negative energy release out of his body a little bit. It shows me that he knows himself well, and he carries himself well. Very impressive stuff. So I'm a fan. I've never met this gentleman before today. We played a good match. He kicked my butt, and perfect gentleman at the table. So I'm loving seeing him do well here.
Oh, thought he was going to come up dry, but the 9-ball kicks the 7-ball into the corner pocket.
He's not. He may be forced to play this 9-ball. I don't know if the 4 passes the 3. That's the question. It looks like it might go.
Yeah, no, and looks like that's what he's looking at here.
And if the 8 goes, the solids are better. Not by a ton. The worst ball for the stripes is the 12, but you can get to it. But he is going to shoot that 4 ball. The 1 becomes the worst ball for the solids. And see, this is why I would have liked to see him take a bathroom break. That's not a ball that he misses.
No.
From what we've seen. And you can see there's just a little bit of frustration still, a little bit of negativity in the body language. So something to pay attention. It's something I've been paying attention to a lot more, and I call it a lot better from the sideline than I do in my own matches, which is something I'm trying to work on. But recognize that spot where that tactical timeout can really, really work for you in a match. The one good thing I have going for me is I'm getting a little older, Dave, and I can't make it through a match without having to use the bathroom anyways. So like I'm forced to take one somewhere.
I don't even want to hear you talking about getting older.
Oh man. Yeah, that's fair. Oh. It's always around 10:30, 11 o'clock when the conversation really starts to devolve in here. And I'm sure that nobody in the chat wants to have a conversation about our aging prostates or whatever. Man. Where's Kyle Dilly when you need him? He hasn't been with us all day, man. I'm a little disappointed. I'm gonna share the stream and I'm gonna tag Kyle on Facebook and say, we need you in the chat.
That was a great shot there by Bryan. Just has to figure out what he's going to do with this 12 here. It looks like he's going to try and get behind the 8 and the 12 to shoot the 12 on the side. Oh, happy birthday, Virginia.
We did get a little bit of break from the music there.
Yes, but unfortunately they're back.
I think he has this 12 ball still. I think he could shoot the 12 to the corner right now.
Oh, to the corner?
Yeah. Well, it goes to the side. I just don't like it.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure. I'm not sure he can go to the corner with it. I don't know that he can get the hit around the 8 ball there.
I think it goes. I just think you're kind of sending the 8 over into the 3 and the 4 area. So, but you really got to get into this 15. Like, I don't know if you can draw this back good enough. You really got to put a great stroke on this to pull it back into the 12.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
He's looking at the corner. You just looked at it.
Yeah.
The only other thing I see is play the 15 and then bank the 12 to the same corner.
Yeah.
If you shoot it to the side, you gotta hit it great and hold it near the 6 and take the long cut on the 15. Kind of use the 6 as a stopper, ideally, I think, off the long rail into the 6. He's looking at all his options. I don't know that he's looked at the bank on the 12 yet for the last shot. And I kind of like it. I think it might be the best option because you're going to make him work if it hangs too.
Yeah, that was always going to be the problem with that shot.
Yeah,
Ball just wants to run too much.
Yeah, you either need to hit the 6 and stop or really just go long and take a tougher cut. Like a really tougher cut though, you know? Like even if the 5 wasn't there, this would be about as steep as you ever want to be on a shot. Yeah. And you go farther, it gets thinner, so. Now he's going to play the 2-rail kick around the 4. No, it looks like he's going between the. What is he playing? A Z kick? He tried the Z kick, and it did not lengthen off the second rail at all. Maybe just a little firm on that one, I guess, because he looked like he was expecting it to lengthen. I expect that one to lengthen out most of the time, but if the cue ball hasn't given up that sliding before it gets to that second rail, it's going to come short again.
Yeah.
Like it did there, so. Very tough shots to judge. That's why when you see someone execute one, it's such a great shot. Because there's so many variables in it. Well, anytime you play a shot on the pool table where the spin on the cue ball changes twice in its path, you got a lot of reading to do.
Yeah.
All right, another chance here for Jordan to get to the hill. It's just me, Dave, but I play that 5 ball before I play that 3. I like the 5. I don't like playing 2 balls to the side pocket back to back as my last 2. This is going to be fine, but he was straight in on the 5, and he could have had the same kind of shot from the whatever that ball was to the 2 as he had to go from there to the 5. But he hit it perfect. This is great. Kind of let go of that a little bit.
Yeah, but he'll be fine.
Yep, this is fine.
Hey. Jordan goes to the hill. It'll be Bryan to break, trying to stay in the match.
He won from 5-2 earlier. Let's see what he can do with 5-3. Wow, you could see that coming as soon as he hit it. Just straight cross side, everything cleared, and it went right in. And a great chance for Jordan to close the match out with ball in hand anywhere on the table after the break.
Yes.
This is tough. I think you have to start with the 13 down table and go to the 15. Because you can't take solids, I don't think, because of the 8 ball and the 12.
Yeah.
And you still got work to do after you get those 3 balls down, you know? Let me see. Is there any way to open this up with a combo? No, not really. I mean, you could, if you get to a good spot with the 1, you could open up the 8. I mean, you could, theoretically, you could play the 1 now with the ball in hand and go up into the 8 with the 3-4 hanging. But even from there, you can get behind the 15 and not have the combination.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's even better. He's playing the same pattern that I called, but he also took care of the other problem in the middle of the table first. Now he's got a little bit of a cover on the 13, but still not a difficult shot. You're just pinching this with some low outside, coming straight back. You hit it good.
You did.
Still got work to do. The 10 does pass the 9 to the side, which is nice. You got to get to a good spot to shoot that 12. The 12 doesn't really go to the 8 well, but it also is a tough ball to get anywhere else off of. So I almost would think about playing the 12 now and going back across for the 15.
I agree. I think that's the way I would have played that.
He still has the 12 from where he's at, and I think he can go straight across now for the 10 in the left-hand side pocket. I believe there's enough room from this angle to beat the 8 and go straight across. Yeah. Kind of like right below the 3 ball here. Still a lot of work to do here for Bryan. And that almost got really bad.
Yeah, it did, but
all's well that ends well. Man, what do you do here?
oh wow.
That's what you do. Great shot. He had to get into that cue ball really nice
Yes.
on that shot.
Yeah, that
Wow, what a shot by Bryan there.
yeah.
And actually got a little bit sloppy on the next one, but he's going to be okay. The 1 to the 7 is fine. Oh, he'd still played the 7. I actually don't like that very much.
I agree. I think the 1 was the better play.
He's okay. He'll just go 2 rails and play the same pocket. Oh my gosh. And see, that's why you play the other one, because the thing is, like, if 2 shots are of equal difficulty, but 1 wins the rack for me, that's the one I'm going to play.
Yeah.
I don't want to play a medium difficulty shot to lead to another medium difficulty shot if I can play 1 medium difficulty shot and then have duck, duck, goose.
Right. Absolutely. Jordan elects to play safe.
There's no chance I play that shot there. It's too simple of a kick here. The 1's too close to the pocket. I don't know what else he had. I didn't really get a great look at the table, but this is a ball that goes in a lot. What is he doing? Why isn't he 1 row kicking at the 1?
I have no idea.
Why would he not one rail kick at the one? Or, I mean, you know, possibly catching it rail first off the... It's there. It was there. I don't understand what just happened. Even if he had to shorten the cue ball just a little bit to, you know, get around it, that's a game-winning shot right there, you know? I wonder if the frustration of the last shot caused him to not really look at everything on that shot. And he played it a little bit quicker than he should have, you know? The thing is, even if he had ginned that shot that he just played, the two-railer, he's cutting the one. The cue ball's going to come over, across, and out, and still have a long full-table cut shot on the 8. One more good shot here for Jordan's going to put him in the hot seat match.
Ooh.
That's not how he wanted to hit that.
All right, Steve Fleming has defeated Rick Miller 6-2. We'll put Rick into 9th, 12th, and Steve will move on to face Joey Korsiak.
Is there a scratch in the side pocket if you roll this? I don't... Oh, man. No, he is. Yeah, he's elevating. Well, he might be elevating so he could play it two ways. Make Bryan make a bank shot. He's going to bump it right up into the pocket.
Oh, wow.
And it's not over yet, folks.
I'd say that's the absolute worst thing that could have happened for him there.
Yeah, 5-4. Jordan needs to figure out a way to manage his frustration right now. Bryan still needs to win 2 games in a row. It's Jordan's break now. Another great spot for a bathroom break here. It's so useful, I'm telling you. Like, you can't reset at the table the way that you can reset if you walk away and come back.
Yeah, I'll be back in 1 second.
So let's see what he does here. I'd like to see him come up with a good break here and have a chance. See if he can manage his frustration. He's visibly frustrated, and understandably so. Gotta figure out a way to put all that negativity out of your head. You've been the better player in this match. You've been one of the best players in the entire tournament from what we've seen so far. Not necessarily the best player, but you've played the best. And here you are with a chance still to close this match out and get to the hot seat match. And it doesn't seem like anybody's going to beat Jordan Gray right now in this match except for Jordan Gray. So let's see how he does here. Nice to finally hear from you, Kyle. Oh, man, it's weird to not see you in here for a change. I'm finally in here doing commentary with these guys, and you haven't been with us all day, so I guess maybe you just don't like me or something. Kyle's with us.
Oh, okay. Hey, Kyle. Good to see you. Yeah, so I just checked. We're bringing back the final 6 tomorrow. So the last match of the night will be the Steve Fleming, Joey Korsiak 7th place match, and we will have that here on the stream as soon as this match is over.
So, Kyle, yeah, Big Table 8-Ball is pretty far down my list of games, but I'm a junkie, and so I still like it a whole lot. Yeah, I agree with that 100%, Kyle. I think, although I will say, we've had a lot of clusters here today. The tables haven't broken great, and so we've had some big table, bar table patterns, for sure. And, you know, if they are clustering on the big table, it went the 9-foot 8 ball again becomes more difficult than the bar table 8 ball at that point. Kyle, while you're at it, you might as well give us all the entire rundown of your favorite to least favorite games. Jordan was just checking with Dave there to make sure that on a frozen ball he can play through the object ball here. Dave, was that ball frozen or?
Yes, they are frozen.
That rule is still so weird to me because I understand the concept of why that works, but to me, 9 times out of 10, you're still double hitting the cue ball.
I absolutely agree with you, but that is the rule, so.
I agree. You know, the rule's right. I mean, you know the rule correctly and executed it correctly there, but I think the rule is wrong.
Yeah, I agree with you. Especially when people hit it low. If you're trying to put draw on it, you're clearly bringing it back into the cue stick.
Like, I don't know if you watched that one closely, but that looked like he hit it 3 times to me. You know what I mean? Like, it's a weird rule. I don't know. I don't know how that's still in the game.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
And that's Jordan knew the rule and played the rule. So not anything against him. Like, if the rule was different, he'd have played a different shot. So I'm not saying anything about it. I'm just saying the rule is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle says it just looks bad. Like, I don't think that moves.
No.
They don't know what we're talking about, but so Jordan has found the one spot on the table where there's a little bit of a tight spot. He's kind of on his backstroke. He's hitting, what do we call that, a baluster?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
The ornament on the railing on the half wall. What do we need, a Phillips head? It's so pretty, though. You know? I like Jordan's sense of humor about it in this spot.
Yeah. Overcuts the 3 for the side.
Did he get the 9 here? Did he hook him on the 9? He did.
He did, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Bryan cannot see any ball. And Bryan can't even get out of his chair. He's so disgusted right now. There he goes. He's in the arena now. I glanced over at Bryan, and he was just in his chair, shaking his head. Can't believe it. Yeah, but I mean, Virginia, I wouldn't go so far as to say that. I mean, the rule is what it is, so the players know the rule and then play within that rule. So I don't think we can call it a cheater's move per se. I mean, if the balls are frozen, the rule says you can shoot through it. So it's not the player's fault. I just think that that's something that the rule needs to be changed. He does come up with a good hit.
It does.
But what are the problems here? I think the 1-5 is sitting real pretty if he has to shoot that. Well, the one looks like it might travel towards the cluster there a little bit if he shoots that.
Yeah, he just took a look at it.
Well, and the 1-7's not sitting bad either, and that would take that out of play.
Right, because there you're not sending the one ball towards any stripes, so that.
So I think if it's me, I'm playing the 2 and rolling forward to use the 4 to get to the 1-7. That's exactly what he's looking at now.
Yep.
And everything else is wide open. The 8 ball has multiple pockets. The 3 ball goes to the side, goes to the corner. Either of those are fine. I like this pattern. I like 2-4, 1-7 combo.
Looks like he's drawn it though.
And he wanted to get the 3 out of play, but he didn't get as far as he wanted on the 3.
He might be playing the 3, then the 4 to the corner to get on the 1-7.
Got to pull that back a little bit. He may still be able, Dave, to play this 3 to the bottom side of the pocket and go forward around the. No, you're right. He's going to pull back. And to me, I think he needed to pull that back a half ball.
Yeah.
No, he does not have to play the combination.
No.
If he goes to the 7, well, now he's going to. I was going to say, if he goes to the 7 and makes the 7, he can go to the 1 and play it in the other pocket. So, but combination coming, and all 3 balls are going to move on this shot.
Yep.
5 should move towards the pocket. I don't think it's going to be a problem. But I don't like shooting this combo from this angle.
No, neither do I. But if he does make the combo, he should have a good shot on the 5 afterwards.
And the 5 or the 1 should both be fine from here, I would think. The 1's not going to move a ton, I don't think, after the contact on the 7. So. He's not thinking about playing safe here, is he? Yeah, I think Kyle's saying that he kind of saw it the same way we did.
Yeah.
The 3 wasn't that big of a problem. I don't think he needed to take care of the 3. He did play safe.
He did play safe.
He was looking at that, and I like that. I like that. He recognizes that he's kind of lost the momentum here, and he doesn't want to take any flyers.
And he played the safe very well.
Yeah. And early enough that he's not in any way at a disadvantage on ball count here. Like, Bryan's going to have to hit a really good shot here to hook him.
Yeah.
I think he'll kick at the 10, and so he has potentially the 8 and the 12 to get behind, and the 9 to get behind, possibly. So.
Oh, he hits the 12.
I didn't know that was going to spin back up that way. I thought for a second it was going to leak down table and get maybe behind them balls.
Yeah.
But this is not bad. I mean, he can't see the 1, can he?
I think he can.
No, I don't think he can. I'm looking right down the line. He can't see the 1, yeah.
Yeah, that other camera angle's so deceiving.
He's actually almost full ball hooked on the 8 here. Because I'm literally looking between the monitors right down the shot line, and it's not good. So, is he going to play safe again? Or cut, or...
He's going into the 5, but I can't tell if he's aiming to cut it or aiming to play safe.
I think he knew that he was going to get that close to the pocket, and rather than try a tic-tac safe that he had to hit perfect, he'd rather just make it a really difficult run out for Bryan.
Yeah. And if he had made that, he's got a good shot on the 1.
Absolutely, yeah. He was out if he made it. So I love the shot selection there. I think Bryan's going to try to pocket this 5.
Yep.
And he hit it good. I think Jordan's going to have to play a jump shot here on the 7. Not a bad jump shot, and the position theoretically should be about natural on a make. So I don't want to say automatic, not automatic, but natural for the cue ball to go towards the spot that it needs to be in. But there are bad things that can happen. You can get behind the 9, you can scratch in the side off the 9 potentially, but if he makes this ball, you kind of expect him to get a look at the 1.
Yes, I agree. And go to the other angle since he'll be in our way. Did a little too full.
You know, he may have been playing too much cue ball there. It's a funny thing to say on a jump shot, I know, but he may have been really playing a lot of cue ball there, worried about the 9.
Yeah.
Because that cue ball went exactly where you would have wanted it to go.
Yep.
You know? Wow, so here we go, Bryan, with another chance for a comeback. Oh, wow, look at this roll. He's still going to have a shot on the 15. A little bit sloppy there once again for Bryan. But he can see the 15, and he can go down from the 15 to the 12, so...
Oh, slight overcut on the 15.
And I think Jordan's going to close this match out now. He's got a natural angle to pocket the 1 and go over for the 7. We've seen him make some mistakes, but I think he's going to get tough here and get this done.
Oh. You jinxed him.
I'm not taking responsibility for that one. I think the body language tells me that Jordan has not done a great job these last couple racks of managing his frustration.
No, I definitely agree with you.
I think if he had been a little bit better with that, he gets that ball down.
That was a little loose by Bryan there running into the 7 ball. But he hits the 15 very nice. Oh, too hard. No. Too hard to the point that it was almost good. I don't think he meant to come across that ball, but...
Just that one, too.
Oh.
And, like, this is why I say sometimes it's your day, because never get a second chance here. Ever. Yeah. Ever. Unless it's just your day.
Yeah.
And that doesn't take away from how well Jordan has played, but, man, when you make that mistake, you don't get back to the table. It just doesn't happen. Now, that being said, he's got to come with another good shot here. I think this pocket's pretty easy, but combos are always missable to me.
Yeah. No, I completely agree.
He's fortunate to not be jacked up on the 8. Another half turn and this shot's way harder. I hate to beat a dead horse, but I really think that if Jordan had taken a bathroom break at 4-3, this match would be over already.
Always hate playing shape on a ball out of a pocket this deep.
He judged it really nicely.
He did.
And I think it's easier on a Brunswick than it is on a diamond. The diamond, they really grab that rail and stick.
That one also wasn't as bad because if that ball had died, you had the 8 in the side.
Right. Well, if it dies, you probably end up perfectly 50-yard line. So, but you're right.
Yeah.
And we've got Hill.
So Hill. Yeah.
Wow. And that miss on that combo is not a terrible miss, but the one before that, the Jordan that we've seen all day makes that ball every time.
Yeah.
So let's see what Bryan can do. This is the second comeback we've seen from Bryan here on the TV table today. Trailed 5-2 against Joey Korziak earlier and was able to come back and get the Hill victory. Let's see if he can do it again. He trailed here 5-3. And I gotta tell you, David, my experience, if you get the chances that many times at 5-4, a lot of times you don't get a look Hill.
Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely.
Not surprised if Bryan runs out here.
And he has made a ball on the break, so.
It just seems like the pool gods only let you get away with so much, you know?
Yep.
I think I like playing the 12 ball here and kind of coming to the inside of the 9, but you don't want to move it far. You just want to get on the 14 and kind of leave the 9 almost right where it is. I think. I haven't really studied the table great so far. The solids are viable if he has an opener. He can shoot the 5. He could shoot the 6 too, and I think that might be the worst ball for the solids. I think I like that. You're a little bit elevated over the 10. But if you shoot the 5 now, you're probably going to end up having to shoot a similar shot on the 6 at some point.
Oh.
Luckily for him, he didn't move it at all, and he could still see the 7. And he could, I think, still cut the 1 to the side if he really wanted.
I don't know, that's tight.
He showed that he really likes that shot. But I think you have to shoot the 7 here. From this angle, it almost looks like he has the 1 to the corner still, but I think the other angle told us that that wasn't there. Yeah, I just think if you shoot that 6 ball and make it, you win the rack. He's really looking at that 1 in the corner. It must be really tight.
Yeah.
This is such a blind pocket for the 7. You have to shoot that. Is he looking at back cutting the 7?
Yeah.
Hit it so good, too.
He did.
But he needs that to clear for the 4. He's there.
It did, yeah. I still got to figure out how he wants to get around on the 6. Oh, he missed the 4.
Yeah, I just had somebody in my inbox, so I'll mention it one more time. The reason it sounds like we're screaming is because there's a band blaring in the background. It was all anybody could hear on the stream. So we had to turn the gain way up on our mics, turn the overall volume way down on the stream, and put a noise gate filter in OBS to try to cut out some of that music. The good thing is now you can hear us, but the bad thing is you can really hear us. But it's kind of the best we can do for the environment we're in at the moment. So.
Yeah. And fortunately, the band will not be around for the conclusion of the tournament tomorrow, so we'll be able to go back to more normal volume settings.
And I'm sure, fortunate in some people's opinions, I won't be back either. So.
No, that is definitely unfortunate.
Yeah, I've had a blast. I'm glad to finally get the chance to hang out with you here at one of these tournaments and do some commentary. But it's a 2-hour ride each way for me, and
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't expect you to come back just for the commentary.
The thing is, if I was still a single man, I probably would have done it.
No, it's understandable. You're married, you got a young kid at home, so.
I'm enough of a junkie where I've driven farther for worse reasons.
Oh no, I agree.
I gotta remember how loud it is when I go to laugh. That probably sounds terrible on the stream. So what do we got? We got to pay attention here. This is Hill. What do we got going on with Bryan here?
He's shooting low balls.
So he can still cut this 4-ball with some check side, I think.
He just called a bank.
And he does tend to bank some balls, but I just almost never bank a ball if it cuts.
Oh, no, I agree.
And he was right on that 6-ball if he had gotten that to go down. So, one more chance for Jordan. I mean, you expect him to make it happen one of these times, you know? We've seen that he has the game, but can he just get his head right? Shooting the 11 up in the corner. Oh, he played the combo. Okay.
Played that nice.
And this is a great angle to play this 12 and bump that 9 out towards the lower left-hand pocket. You do have to hit it good. If you're playing that, that's your next shot. So you have to hit it good.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's hard to control. Maybe. You got to hit this one good. From here it looks like there's a lot less room between the 9 and the rail, which makes this tougher. But that also tells me that he has a chance to come up with a shot on the 15 or the 11. And if he hit the top side of the 9 with some speed, he could also clear for the other corner, going behind the 4 if he hit that side of it. I think it's hard to play it that way intentionally. It's just tough to commit to that one. You're going to feel real dumb if you go to play it that way and it doesn't get there.
Yeah.
I mean, he can still play this 9-ball up table later on. If it goes up table, you can play the 10 now and go to it now.
That's what it looks like he's looking at.
Just because the 12 doesn't really lead you anywhere else. I mean, a little bit steeper than you would want, but he doesn't have to do anything with the cue ball. It's natural to just go straight across and then have the 12 next. Still, it looks so bad when you go down to shoot this ball. It looks like the 12 is huge. You can't kind of see past it. But he has a full pocket here. And he can rub it off the rail, too. So it's really a big pocket from this angle if you don't crush it. He really doesn't want to shoot it. He's looking at, is there any other way? He could, if he liked it better, he could play the 12 in the corner and come back into the 9 off the rail. That's what he's playing. But you got to get there. That's the thing. Like, you have to. That's your last chance if you play it that way. You know.
Yeah.
It's your last chance the other way too. Yeah, either way, that shot was going to be all or nothing. And it's not his last chance there. He still has a jump shot. And you can take the pocket away as well. I mean, you can kind of pinch this off the rail. You can call it. If you hit this perfect, it'll go. But you have to kind of get it to go through the 4 a little bit.
Yep.
So not like you're playing a traditional off the 4 carom. You want to hit about 80% of the 4 off the rail, and then it'll kind of travel forward and into that opening. But he also has to play shape.
Right, that's the difficult thing.
I think it's natural to kind of climb up one rail and then go above the 6. He hit it really good.
Oh, he hit it great.
And he was able to hold the cue ball,
He was.
actually. So that's a great shot. What a great shot. So for all the frustration and all the mistakes, what an outstanding shot to come with when you absolutely have to have it there. And now he's doing a great job to collect himself. But a stop shot here is basically going to win the set for you. I mean, he is looking at... Actually, he might not have a stop shot. Might have to go forward here because the angle takes him towards the 11 just a little bit. May have just looked to see if he can roll forward and take the 11 in the side.
Yeah.
I love how much time he's taking here. He recognizes the moment, he feels the pressure, and you need to feel that pressure. The only time pressure beats you is when you try to pretend that it's not there. And this is about the worst result he could have had for still having a good shot on the 11. He's going to have to come with a pretty big stroke, I think, to get on a shot on the 8. Unless he just kind of pinches it in and takes a long cut shot on the 8. But man, what a shot to have to give yourself. I can't tell.
He needed to stay below that 11 so he could just roll up table.
It's a big stroke to go to the long rail and leak back down to where he's looking at now.
Yeah.
I will say the good thing is we're playing on big pockets. If this was a diamond table, there's no way you want to jam that in the side pocket and go that far.
Absolutely.
But it's not going to spit it back out. If you hit it pretty good, it's going to go in. He's got the stroke for it as well, we should point out. This is not a huge stroke for him. Yeah, so just to respond to Kyle's comment, no, it did not go up table, but on the first breakout attempt, it moved into a position where it did go up table. but then he decided that he didn't want to play it up table because it was a little bit tight from his viewpoint. When he got down, it looked bad, so he chose to try to break it out again. And then it got to a spot where it went off the other ball, so.
If he gets by that, oh, great shot. He hit that really well.
That's the shot. That's the shot of the tournament to this point. I mean, Hill, you've struggled, you've let your opponent back into it, and you came with a sick, gutty out when you absolutely had to have it. That was an outstanding shot and a nice win for Jordan, fighting through some frustration, some negativity in the head, but found a way to get it done. And hats off to him. He will advance to the hot seat match where sometime tomorrow afternoon he'll be taking on Dylan Spoor to try to claim that hot seat. So.